Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Mary. Now, last weekend I had to go to Kanab, Utah, I don't know if I'm saying that right, for a wedding that was going to be at a animal sanctuary. I've heard a lot about it. I didn't really do any research. So we ended up going to Utah, and my aunt had booked us a tour to check out this facility. And what I thought was just gonna be like a very tiny sanctuary, with some fields and, nothing crazy. Boy, was I wrong. I had absolutely no plans of vlogging or filming at all until I saw the place. So I'm first of all gonna apologize if the vlog is all over the place. That's just kind of how my brain was working at the time because I was on cloud 9. I was just drunk in love with animals, I guess you would say. That's how I felt. So the vlog is a little bit all over the place, but what they are doing there is amazing. I want to go back. Utah is interesting, but I will go back to go see the animals. Just wait till you see it. Like, if you are a dog, cat, bunny, reptile, bird lover, of any animal lover of any sorts and love nature, go. Just go. You will be in love with everything that they do, the property, the animals, what they stand for. The tour guide that we had was amazing. I ended up sitting in the front seat, so I try to get the best footage. Like I said, I was like all over the place, really excited, but I love the area. And then on top it off, the wedding that we went to was something out of a romance novel. If you love nature, animals, trees, redstones, just like, oh my gosh, 10 out of 10. If you're looking for a wedding venue, all the money goes back to the animals. So I will leave all the information about this place down below. I know that there are a few more other than Utah. I think there's like a little bit of smaller sanctuaries, but let's go check out this best friends sanctuary vlog. If you are new to my channel, it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button, notification.
Aren't they the cutest statues?
Yes, I love them.
They're mobile, so when the wind blows, it moves. It's really cool. All right. Sanctuary of companion domestics in the U.S. We operate on over 4,200 acres. We actually own 1,600 companion domestics, meaning down here in the lower area is our hoofed animals, horses, mules, donkeys, pigs, goats. Upper canyon is where our dogs and cats are. That's what we started with, as well as bunnies, birds, and a wildlife rehab center. So Best Friends really started in the minds of about 20 plus animal loving friends who had gathered together outside of Prescott, Arizona back in the late 70s. They were just taking in abandoned animals at that time, dogs and cats, but they really had a vision of acreage. So they just started looking around, and I am going to warn you, some of this area is very washboardy. So I will talk as loud as I can to make sure y'all can hear me in the back. So what they were doing was started looking around Arizona, but it just so happened a couple of them were coming through Kanab. What's nice about this newer area is behind the headquarters here is the surgical suite for these animals, which prior to 2020, they'd have to do minor operations outside. And then more horses would actually have to be transported to either Salt Lake. If you guys can see it, it's going to be easier as we come around the corner. I'm going to pause right here. There is a beaver dam. Yes. If you see the white tree limb, there is a beaver dam. from the movie. And so we have our two fabulous horses here. I know that's Rudy and I think her name is Gwynny. I want to say it's Gwynny, but that might be wrong. They've got really great place. Turtle, one of my co-workers calls him Michelangelo. I think he's more of a Donatello for those of the Ninja Turtle variety, because he's wearing a derby, kind of dapper. Now we do a second cemetery on site.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yes, we'll pause right here. So the wind chimes on the posts are ones that people purchase online so they can have it engraved in honor of a personal pet. The ones in the trees, we do have wind chimes for sale in the gift shop that you can purchase. You can put in the trees or take home. They're all in about the D minor because it's the most melancholy note. We also have benches and gazebos to sit at, so this is a place you can come to on your own anytime until dusk. This rounded area is called Angel's Nest. This is where any birds are buried. They kind of have it shaped like an egg. If you could see it from above, it looks like a big giant egg. I don't know if we'll be able to hear it. Let's see. I'll roll down the windows and see if we can hear it. Yeah, I know the window. Great.
There you go.
There we go. It's quite beautiful. But yeah, it's a good place. Beautiful fence, and they usually put chairs and benches up here. I actually volunteered here. I'm originally from Colorado. As Paul Jolly Way. Paul Jolly was the CEO of Petco, so it has a little bit of his story on the plaque right here. So we'll pause right here. You go through the beautiful gates and you can park and walk around. It is beautiful up here. You will see maybe different creatures as you're sitting, especially during the fall and winter when mule deer are here. But you'll still see some wild turkeys and potentially coyotes. But you can go the White Cliffs, the third staircase of Escalante, which if you go eat at our Angel Village Cafe and sit on the patio, you get beautiful unobstructed views of that. It is quite beautiful. Of feral cats, which years ago a program was created called Trap, Neuter, and Return. That is where these cats are humanely trapped, spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and returned to their community. Now, while they're under the anesthesia, they will get their left ear tipped, which when they come to, it doesn't have any impact. It's just the universal sign for those who are watching those community cats to know who. As a matter of fact, in Oregon and Washington State, they've done so well with their Trap, Neuter, Return program that many of their shelters have not been full of cats for almost a decade. So this is Cat World headquarters, where you would check in if you're volunteering here, and the starting age is 8. There are 20 catios. Yes, they're called catios. The front catios are for our office cats. These are ones that are in here being socialized because they might have a behavioral challenge. I'll move forward a little bit. They're just being socialized, and they'll just need a relationship built, and they can be adopted. Next door, as we move forward, is Quincy House. Quincy houses are cats that have what's called feline immunodeficiency virus. Not highly contagious to other cats, so they can be adopted out to homes with other cats. Also home to those that are incontinent, be it due to age, birth defect, or unfortunately in some cases, a severe tail pull. There is a nerve back by the tail, and this includes dogs as well. Yes, cats love stroller rides, by the way. Yes, they do. So, with those that have the severe tail pull, they do have to have their bowels and bladders manually expressed for them. Which, when they're done, they're super happy, go lucky cats, I'm told, and run around. So I'll pause here. The next one is Casa de Calmar, which is the only building over there. I see cats on a stroller ride right there. Yeah. Going down a path known as Meowser's Meander. So Kalmar is the only one that has a living room. The cats there have what's called feline leukemia, which is a highly contagious virus to other cats. So typically they're adopted out as the only cat in the home, unless you already have one that has it. However, they have found a 95% success rate with the vaccine. So now a lot more cats are becoming immune to it. To note, Kalmar cats never have an adoption fee, and actually right now, being sponsored, I believe, by Walmart and Blue Buffalo, adoption fees are waived for all species between here at the sanctuary and our life-saving centers such as Salt Lake, LA, New York, and Bentonville, Arkansas. So that's from horse to mouse. Fees waived. All right, so we'll move. But across the street is the Colonel's Barracks. Yes, the Colonel's Barracks was named after a local community cat who came here a few decades ago.
The green eyes. Such a pretty baby. Hi, baby.
So all of the catios.
Hi. Hi, baby.
feel so upset you didn't pick her.
Hi, babe. I'm sorry.
You can't get spayed. Bedding, toys have all been donated. Also, yes, this is Bones. The towers are for those that have dietary needs or medical needs. Maybe they came from the clinic, so they have to continue.
Look at your cats, who brings them? Just anybody can?
So, our cats and dogs, rescue animals, rescues, shelters. We were near Arizona and New Mexico. A lot of reservations really, I think, flipped things around. So we ended up with more dogs, which we did have a partner. Well, we still do. Wings and Rescue. Between our LA Life-Saving Center and other taking in those pets as temporary fosters until they can find a home. So it was really a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, these guys are for adoption. Now I will tell you, for kittens, usually 6 months and younger, it's a big year, so.
She's like my Luna. That's why I like her so much.
The business offices, which started off as dormitories for those out here doing the building. Now out here we have Bunny House. Yes. So their outside area has this fence to cut down noise. They don't have doors. They have bunny tunnels they hop through. They also get a small stroller ride as well. When it's nice out, they get a bunny hoppy hour. Yes. Fun bunny hoppy hour. They just take them with the strollers up to the road, up to that outside enclosure. They're a little different kind of breed. Basically, these guys can live some 80 to 100, so we get a lot of them because they've outlived their owners. Our oldest right now is Paco. He's 68. And let's just say if there's a person they don't like, they'll never will like them. So if you're like looking at a beautiful macaw or cockatoo and you come to visit that bird and that bird doesn't like you, they never will. So the adoption specialist will help you find a love match. So they also can be very loud. We had one here named, I'll think of his name in a minute. He was a beautiful cockatoo. Him and another one came in from Puerto Rico from a zoo. They were greeters. Because when you went in for the tour, which they have every day at 11, they love to yell out, hola! And then one of them would mumble, which we figured out, somebody who knows Spanish says he's basically mimicking a child, talking to a parent, and then he would scream. His scream is that of a decimal of a jet engine, let's just say. He got adopted. All I can say is I hope they live 20 miles away from the nearest neighbor. Next is Wild, friends. They have a tour every day at 10:15. It's a nice walking tour. We have a federally state licensed rehab specialist, mainly working with wild birds. I'm going to pull over a little bit. The ones following me, just pull over a little bit and we'll let that car behind you go by. So with Wild, friends, on the tour, you will see some of those creatures that were unable to be returned. They have some great horned owls, desert tortoises. There's also a mink, plus some crows and ravens that are unable to fly. They also have 2 Patagonia maras that came from the same Puerto Rican zoo. Their names are Hip and Hub. They're very cute. They are from the Capybara family. So basically the head of a guinea pig on the body of a jackrabbit. They're very cute. So on the tour, when it's nice out, they're hopping around their outside enclosure. So that you would see on the tour. Also, they have creatures here up for adoption that don't fit into the other categories. Pigeons, chickens, roosters, ducks, turtles. They also have domesticated mice, rats, and snakes, if that's your jam. Plus, we've had geckos and bearded dragons up for adoption. We'll go ahead and move forward. All kinds of fun creatures. Adoption, or adoption to that particular animal. What it does, that's right. Yes, the special pets with a gated community. The first building on the left is puppy admissions. Now, puppies do have to go through a vaccination protocol, so you do have to be 16 and older to volunteer here. So you would have to wear the PPEs or the medical gear. However, pre-COVID, once they were done with their protocol, they'd come next door to what at that time was known as puppy preschool, which is what I got to do in 2015. You stand in this room, they open doors, and here comes all the puppies. If you're having a bad day, it's done right there. You're like, yes! And then we would train them and then take them out to the park and play with them, and the park is in between the buildings. However, puppy preschool is now our adoption hub. This is open to the public from 10 to 6, so you guys can come back here and check out some adoptable dogs in there. Sometimes they have cats in the front room where we used to train the dogs. So it's a cool place to go into and check out. We also have this as a gated community because of the beautiful gates. Between here and Old Dogtown, there are over 5 miles of walking trails. Yes, and for some that can't walk very far, or because of weather, they'll get a car ride, golf cart ride, or stroller ride. And for the more discerning pup, the one that doesn't want to come out at all because it's too hot, too wet, too cold, too cloudy, they're given a puzzle treat or 2, and it's found when they're done with those, it's as if they've had a physical activity. So we don't let them get bored. The next area is old friends. These are typically dogs 8 years and older, but not all of them here are seniors. And of course, it wouldn't be a gated community without a fitness center, right? So here at Dogtown Heights, yes, they have a fitness center. If you were to look in that big picture window over there to the right, as we come to this building, here is the fitness center. They have a hydrotherapy machine in there, or an underwater treadmill. Great for physical therapy or weight loss. And not just for dogs. We've had a potbelly pig, miniature horse, 33-pound cat. Yes, 33-pound cat. I $1.5 million for half of what was needed for the 40-some buildings they built. Homer, being a civil engineer, also helped with the well water. In Homer's building, there are 2 dogs that have been here since they were 4 months of age. They were found in a box, unfortunately. They'd had distemper that apparently led to cerebellar hypoplasia. So what happens is when those caregivers leave, they can shut off that door to the smaller dogs, and they can come out and do what they need to and be safe from the big birds of prey we have here. Also, all of these buildings have these single kennels that jut into the kitchen. So like cats have the towers, these guys have the single kennels that go right into where the caregivers are. So if it's a dietary or medical need, they're right there with the caregivers. Also, for runs that don't have trees, they have canopies over here. Now, most of our buildings are actually named after animals that were here in the beginning. So I'll pause right here so you can see the area right there. So Amra and Rhonda were dogs that were here in the beginning. Rhonda was here first, a very, very shy, introverted 17-pound terrier mix. So the building's named after her, as is the road. But when Amra came in, I will just say that's a love story. Rhonda fell in love. Amra being a very extroverted, large, 145-pound Malamute. You'd see probably one. And we'll pause right here and get a picture of him. Maybe he'll look, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there he is.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
So that is in Rhonda's building. So we'll look him up. Yep.
Do you know his name?
I don't. I know some of the names of the dogs here, but not all of them. It's a beautiful, look at that. He's just showing his best side. So they have shelter outside and in. Lots of areas to run around in. The excess area is called X-pins, short for exercise pins. I like how he's just posing right there. Check me out. I'm a beautiful dog.
Oh, his little trot.
I know. So cute. They usually have the neighbors over there somewhere. Own dog park, which is called Fiesta over here to the left. But there's another dog park further back for the others. Plus in Old Dogtown, there is a dog park with an in-ground pool. So they have pool parties. And there's one of my favorite dogs.
Oh.
That is Strawberry. We'll pause right here. She is a senior pit, 13 years old. A little arthritic, but otherwise she's a lover. She just wants to go to a home, but she's got one of the biggest areas. Lots of shade with trees and canopy, which is an awesome thing they do. I went one year. Typically there's 2 vets, and it's a 3-day weekend. The one time I went, one of the vets couldn't make it, so one vet did over 350 animals in that 3-day weekend. So they're like 3 days of 15 hours. Found camper, I think it's a Kanab amber snail. Happened to be on the endangered species list. So I put the kibosh on that. Since then, best friends purchased the property. The snail is no longer endangered. But however, we do keep it as a private property because a lot of times when eagles come through, they will build their nests in the trees up here above the cliffs. Not to mention the water goes underneath a cliff, so I think that would be a danger of getting stuck under there. Alcohol. However, it is now where you can see rocks, gems, and dinosaur fossils from the area. So as we continue down to the south entrance to where the pigs and goats are, we do have lodging on site. There were formerly Christmas trees. People bring them in after Christmas. The goats like to chew off the needles and then use the remaining tree as scratching posts. Yep, they get very itchy. And then we have our potbelly pigs, which most of them are Vietnamese potbellies. And we have 4 of them that are called coonies that originated from New Zealand. So they're in there saying hi to the goats.
Look at the little goats.
That's Rusty right there, checking those guys out. And we do have the horses down here. We'll come around and turn around. There's the cottages.
Dana, who gets the name? The fly trap. Aw, yay!
Hello.
Oh my gosh, hi baby!
Excellent. Best thing ever.
You can just walk in and see him here, Lisa. I think it's probably not a good idea, but.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi cuties!
Can we walk in here?
Yep.
Hi babies! Oh my gosh! Why are you so cute?
Batman.
Oh my God.
Hi babies! Oh my golly!
Okay, so these are the
Hi.
coonies. Originating from New Zealand. So bigger face. Now Batman.
Oh my
That's
gosh!
Batman's asleep. Batman's asleep.
Oh my God.
That's Portland.
Hi baby! You like my boots?
Karen.
Karen!
Yes.
Lisa, can you film me in here? Just hold it. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Hi babies, you guys are so freaking cute.
So they have limited eyesight, so that's why we don't put our hands in front of their faces. They'll think they're almonds.
Like scratches? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
That and we disturbed. What are you guys talking about?
Oh my god, he just flopped down for me to rub his belly. Oh my god.
Yeah, he is better. So, but they have the brains of a 4-year-old. You can throw up, they can also be. So,
Oh, hi. You good baby. You're a very good baby. I started.
and they do know the difference.
Hi. Hi.
They ran out. They got a generic one. They spit it out and were very.
Hi. And they're like, look at you. Look at you. Bye, Piggy.